We have here the HP NV14 Spectre, which is on the left, and the Dell XPS 13 Ultrabook on the right. These are two recently released Ultrabooks that have stirred up quite a bit of interest, and the differences between these are quite vast actually, because the NV14 Spectre is a 14-inch Ultrabook, whereas the XPS 13 is 13 inches. So we're not comparing apples to apples here, for, well, lack of a better saying there. The NV14 weighs in at 4 pounds, so it's quite a bit heavier than the XPS 13. It also has a fuller size keyboard and quite different design. As you can tell, the XPS 13 has a black keyboard, whereas the NV14 has a silver keyboard, and there's on the palm rests here, as you can see with that reflection of the lights, it's thin glass finish there. If we close these laptops down, you'll also see that the lids are quite different. They're actually reversed. The HP has a black lid, and you can see the fingerprints it's picking up there, whereas the Dell has a silver aluminum finish lid, much like the MacBook Air, and it does a good job of preventing any fingerprints from actually getting picked up. So that I actually prefer, although the NV14 has a glass finish, which is cool when it's clean, but as you can see here, it's a real fingerprint magnet, so when it's not clean, it's not the prettiest thing to be looking at. So I'm going to open them back up here, and the other advantage the NV14 has is in terms of ports. It has a number of ports on the left side. It has a mini display port, HDMI, Ethernet port, a USB port, USB 3 port, and then a headphone jack, and then an SD card slot. There is nothing on the right side in terms of ports, though it does have a volume dial and a Beats audio button and a mute button there. Meanwhile, the XPS 13, all it has on the left side is one USB 2.0 port and a headphone microphone jack, and then on the right hand side it has the USB 3.0 port and a mini display port. No HDMI, no SD card reader, and in general just fewer number of ports to choose from there. The thinness, the XPS is a winner again, as you can see here. If I bring the camera down to the table level, the NV14 is actually a few millimeters thicker than the XPS 13. And as I mentioned earlier, the weight comparison here is 3 pounds for the XPS 13 and around 4 pounds for the NV14. Another big difference is the screen resolution. The NV14 has a 1600 by 900 screen resolution, whereas the XPS 13 has a 1366 by 768 screen. And in general, the screen on the NV14 is just much nicer. The XPS 13 in comparison is somewhat washed out. Though still not terrible, it's next to the NV14, not as good. So that's a very important aspect as well. We'll have a full comparison, so stay tuned to laptopreviews.com for that.